Our first speaker today is Nirav Khambhati, Managing Partner of Kaizenvest and Co-Chair of IFP's Education Employability Skills and EdTech Impact Community. Nirav leads education funding for Kaizenvest in emerging Asia and Africa. Prior to joining Kaizenvest, he was formerly with Tata Group for 20 years, including last holding roles as CEO of Tata ClassEdge and Tata Interactive Systems. Nirav finds himself at the crossroads between education, technology, and affordability and inclusion, the trinity for scaled impact. Please welcome Nirav Khambhati.
It is absolutely wonderful to be part of the Impact Future project. Education is poised at a very interesting juncture. And that's not just true for India, but globally. So far, it would not be an exaggeration to say that education has led down our future generations. It just seems that we have given disproportionate amount of importance to access, and that has come at the cost of quality and relevance both. So we've managed to create many more classrooms, but what is going on in these classrooms is not what the world needs at the moment. As a matter of fact, our definition of quality also is very narrow at the moment. And we are at a stage where we perhaps don't even know what needs to be measured such that education can deliver holistic quality to our future generations. And as a result of that, what has happened is we've produced a system which is increasingly losing its relevance. And a symptom of that is the high unemployment that our graduate youth are facing today. And this needs to change. But there is hope in the horizon. One of the largest contributor to this hope, in my view, across the world is technology. Now, I must say that technology is certainly not the panacea. As a matter of fact, the whole digital divide issue has been brought to the fore by COVID. It just seems that only a third of our children had access to digital devices, which would allow them online learning during the pandemic. So technology is certainly not the panacea, but having said that, there has not been a greater disruptor in many years that has succeeded in bringing down boundaries of geography, boundaries which are socio-economic in nature, boundaries which are linked to learning disabilities, for example. Technology gives me a lot of hope that we will be able to democratize education and take the right kind of education to those who truly need it. The other hope that has emerged is simply because of the bold actions of some of our entrepreneurs who've decided that they're not going to be at the mercy of the education institutions who sometimes can act as a bottleneck more than a facilitator. And so some of them have decided to approach parents directly and have a dialogue directly between parent and themselves, and in the process made the process of learning improvement much faster than what would have been possible had the institutions not been bypassed. And finally, what gives me hope is the fact that there is now an increasing amount of realization that what needs to be focused on are the outcomes and not the inputs. For a very long time, all our policies were directed towards inputs. How many teachers do you have? What kind of infrastructure do you have? What is the curriculum? But now is the time to shift focus more and more towards outcome. What is it that our children are learning? Is that learning really relevant for the world that they are about to enter into? Is that learning going to allow them to contribute in a meaningful manner to the society that they belong to. And looking at various initiatives, governmental and non-governmental, that are going on around in India and outside to focus on outcomes, one feels that education is certainly heading towards a dramatic improvement as compared to what, for example, my generation has witnessed. And in that context, some of the key investment themes that one would like to pursue, but also like to see being pursued by others. Most important is attracting more non-state or private interest and investment in education. As World Bank has pointed out, 53% of our children around the world are learning poor. They can't read or write at the age appropriate level. And states where this problem is the most grave simply don't have the resources to be able to tackle this issue. We are nowhere close to achieving SDG 4 targets by 2030 just on the back of government resources. What is required is a lot more interest from the private sector in education, a lot more well meaning investment being drawn into the sector. Thank you very much.